CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Brendan Purdy.
Who is going to advocate for thoughtful, responsible growth in the city?
Tonight on CTV News, pre-election planning. Some Edmonton mayoral candidates weigh in on the city's infill policy. The city of Edmonton is getting ready for students to return to school in a new way this summer. Until Friday, you can drop off school supplies in donation boxes around the city. It's part of the city's first ever Stuff a Bus campaign. It's partnering with Staples and United Way. Donation boxes can be found at any city-run rec center. The campaign hopes to make sure students have everything they need for back to school.
And we know that education is such an important component to bringing people to a place that they can succeed and live full and complete lives.
Especially with how much tools you need when being able to access school. We want to make sure that everybody is provided an opportunity to have the same education for everybody, no matter your advantages in this society or not.
The most needed items include backpacks, notebooks, and pencils. On Sunday, donations can be brought to buses parked outside all 8 Staples locations in the city. Some mayoral candidates believe Edmonton's infill policy will play a major role in this fall's municipal election. Candidates are laying out their infill proposals. Size, parking, and location are all key factors. CTV's Nermanisa has the details.
In violation of so many safety codes, your work site is atrocious.
A neighbor fed up with construction had some choice words for the project manager of this infill site in the Crestwood neighborhood.
We are proud that we're building in this community because this is a community that has been identified as one that could use density.
Kelly Petrick says infill will be the deciding factor on who she votes for in the upcoming civic election.
Who is going to advocate for thoughtful, responsible growth in the city, and what's their plan?
3 mayoral candidates laid out their infill policies this week. Raheem Jaffer says he would repeal the blanket zoning bylaws that allow for this type of development in mature neighborhoods.
Something that assigns 1 parking stall per dwelling, the ability for neighbors to have input in the way that they'd like to see their neighborhood develop, and to ensure that there's accountability.
Tim Cartmel is calling for reduced units and mandatory parking stalls. He believes mistakes have been made by this current council.
And quite frankly, I think that there was more of a focus on policy than there was on people. A lot of this work was crafted during COVID, where there was not a lot of opportunity for face-to-face engagement, and I think we left people behind.
Andrew Knack says the need for housing is high, that infill is the answer while preserving community character.
As mayor, I will bring forward a bylaw to protect mature trees on infill sites. And I will also work with property owners and the city to protect our heritage neighborhoods by implementing and strengthening the Heritage Places strategy.
After calling Crestwood home for decades,
we've been here for 10 years. We actually moved here because it was quieter. So
Patrick will have to get used to the new sights and sounds. Steps from her yard. Nermanisa, CTV News, Edmonton.
Edmonton's Zebra Center and other child advocacy agencies are getting a boost in funding. To address rising caseloads, the UCP is giving more to 8 Alberta centers that support young abuse survivors. It says the additional $3.7 million this year represents a 10% boost in funding. The Zebra Center helps more than 4,000 children and youth every year. It provides mental health, medical, and legal supports for kids who've experienced abuse or neglect.
My understanding is the Zebra Center is the busiest child advocacy center in all of Alberta. We see the most number of kids every year. And I believe if we're not the second busiest in Canada, we might be the busiest in all of Canada.
The 7 other centers getting more money are in Calgary, Red Deer, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, Lloydminster, Grand Prairie, and Fort McMurray. It appears Alberta's measles situation is improving. For the first time since April 26th, no new measles cases were reported today. A primary and preventative health services official says there are currently 6 active cases of measles in Alberta. It says that number has remained stable for several weeks. Adding weekly cases are fluctuating, but it's encouraging to see that they've dropped for the past 3 weeks. Animal rescues across Edmonton are welcoming the changes being made to the city's animal control bylaw. Along with support for those groups, it also includes stiffer fines for dog attacks and tools to control Edmonton's feral cat population. CTV's Amanda Anderson reports.
After years of consultation, new rules are coming for animals that live in our city.
Many of the needs of our community weren't reflected in the bylaw.
It's been 20 years since the bylaw was last changed. Animal Care and Park Rangers Director John Wilson says since the pandemic, there's been a spike in the number of dog bites and attacks reported, about 1,000 each year.
Now we're looking at fines ranging from $250 all the way up to $3,000 for dog attacks.
Repeat offenders classified as vicious dogs could be fined as much as $7,000. People will also see a slight increase when licensing their pets. It will go up $1 each year for 3 years.
We're also going to expand our subsidy program for seniors and for people on income assistance.
Licenses will be free for registered animal rescue organizations.
To license all of those and have to pay for them when even they're only with us, hopefully a short time before they're adopted, is a huge thing.
Perhaps the most impactful change for organizations like the Second Chance Animal Rescue Society is fosters will be able to apply to temporarily have more than the allowed limit of cats and dogs in a household.
The fact that now we can apply to have that temporary increase for homes that already have animals of their own or want to take in multiple fosters will be a really great thing for us.
The bylaw will also provide tools to help control the feral cat population. Wilson says there's an estimated 70,000 feral cats in the city.
It gives us a legislative framework to authorize trap, neuter, return programs officially, to recognize different types of cats, that we can introduce different programs to best manage their welfare in the community.
The new bylaw goes into effect next May. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
City Council is once again trying to crack down on noisy vehicles using automated enforcement. Council has approved $50,000 for a pilot project to test out new and improved technology. The mayor says inaction on the issue is not acceptable. But as CTV's Jeremy Thompson reports, the new cameras and microphones may not hit city streets for another 2 years.
A microphone records a noisy street, while a camera and tracking technology identifies the source with a red dot. Video from UK-based SoundView demonstrates how its technology is being used to issue traffic tickets to excessively loud vehicles in countries like England and the US.
It's been wildly successful in New York City, so much so that they buy more and more of these devices because it works.
Council has now agreed to give the tech a trial run in Edmonton, approving $50,000 to buy or rent a device and pay city staff to analyze the information it collects.
I don't feel that our enforcement is making a dent. So I would like to see that we do something different.
The city tested out similar automated noise enforcement technology in 2020, mounting cameras and microphones in known noisy hotspots. Some included live decibel readings, which led to counterproductive behavior. Ultimately, city staff determined the technology wasn't precise enough to hold up as evidence in court. Noisy vehicles continue to be a top complaint in council inboxes.
Just some action on this issue. It's so frustrating. Edmontonians are furious.
2 years ago, council raised the fine for noise violations to $1,000. The mayor says more needs to be done.
To give people peace of mind that we are there for them, that we will step up for them, that we will do something.
One councillor believes spending the city's limited tax dollars on unproven technology is the wrong approach.
I don't want to sell false hope to Edmontonians. I don't want to spend money unnecessarily. I don't want to draw peace officers from the job of keeping people safe. I want a actual workable plan.
This plan could take 2 years just to begin. City staff predict the new tech won't hit Edmonton streets until summer 2027. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Ottawa is spending millions of dollars on Indigenous and rural Alberta business development. Nearly $6 million will go towards 7 projects, including an initiative to build Indigenous-led community atlases at NAIT.
What I can say about the projects of national interest is that it's fundamental for our government to make sure that First Nations, Indigenous peoples have an equity share in those projects, and that the projects that are going ahead have the consent of, full, free, informed consent of Indigenous peoples.
$200,000 will go towards an Indigenous resource center here in Edmonton. A travel center and convenience store in Musquecheese will get $2 million. The projects are expected to create 370 jobs. Now, despite the warm weather, leaves on some trees in Edmonton are already starting to change color. Forester David Stevenson says dry conditions are causing the colors to change early this year, while CTV News Chief Meteorologist Josh Clausen says the shift in color doesn't mean that fall is coming early. Stevenson adds, to keep trees healthy, the best thing you can do is to water them.
Especially if you've got a newly planted tree, to make sure that it is receiving water right through till the fall, after it's dropped its leaves. It needs that moisture that it then stores in the roots for the winter.
At this time of year, actively growing trees need ample moisture. Stevenson says older trees should be okay without extra water. Just ahead, home is where the heart is. Edmonton families move into homes provided by Habitat for Humanity. Plus, Alberta abduction. A Calgary man is charged in a catch-a-predator sting.
These are very hard to prosecute. It puts these people, these kids in this incident, in extremely high-risk, dangerous situations.
Help make history this summer with the world's largest egg and spoon race, August 30th in Vegreville. Registration is now open.
Welcome back. Police say a social media trend became even more dangerous when a 12-year-old boy was abducted. A Calgary man faces charges after investigators say a group of teenagers arranged to meet a man through an app. As CTV's Jordan Canagan reports, it's being described as a catch-a-predator scheme.
It was near this area in the Cooper's Crossing neighborhood of Airdrie. A 12-year-old boy escaped from a kidnapper.
There are numerous youth, ages 12, 13, so quite young, that have been involved in a catch the predator scheme. So apparently this is a new scheme on social media.
Police say the boy was part of a group of between 6 and 10 teenagers who arranged to meet a man in a vigilante sting to expose child predators.
These are very hard to prosecute. It puts these people, these kids in this incident, in extremely high-risk, dangerous situations without backup training, justification, and backup. It's amazingly dangerous what happened in this incident.
Investigators say the teens met the man on Snapchat and it was caught on video. Police say the boy willingly got into the vehicle, but the man drove away with the child. The boy was able to escape a short time later. Multiple teens and other witnesses called 911 and police tracked the suspect to northeast Calgary.
This has not been done before here in Airdrie. In my service time of 23 years, I haven't been involved in a similar investigation where we have somebody setting up to catch a predator or anything along those lines. This is a very unique incident.
A 37-year-old Calgary man is facing numerous charges, including kidnapping, sexual interference, and breach of probation. He does have a history with police.
This offender is known to the ICE unit. We've had more than one investigation and file with this offender, which again speaks to the dangerous and high-risk nature of meeting strangers, conversing with strangers.
Some families in the Edmonton area are moving into new homes thanks to Habitat for Humanity. 3 new homes in Sherwood Park will have families living in them. Each house includes 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, and a detached garage. One woman says her family couldn't afford a house on their own, so she's very thankful for the organization's help.
Up to now, I don't believe it. My family is so excited to move in because this has been our dream for a long, long time. And as I said, our dreams come true. Yeah, we're so happy.
Habitat for Humanity homeowners are expected to pay it forward by volunteering 500 hours either with Habitat or in their own community. There are renewed calls for all Albertans to receive free COVID shots after the province flipped its vaccine policy for healthcare workers. 2 months ago, the province announced most Albertans, including frontline healthcare workers, would have to pre-order and pay for the shot. The premier said it was to reduce waste. Following backlash yesterday, several unions said they were notified their members would in fact get access to a free COVID shot. Now, there are calls for other groups, including teachers, seniors, and children, to be given free access.
People working in education settings where there's high risk, in meatpacking plants and grocery stores. And in fact, every Albertan who wants access should get it. Anything less, from our point of view, is public health negligence.
As it stands, most Albertans still need to book appointments for shots and pre-register by September 30th for the October rollout. The Edmonton Symphony Orchestra has returned to the great outdoors for this year's edition of Symphony Under the Sky. The ESO warmed up at the Snow Valley earlier today to prepare for the first of 4 performances over the next 3 days. From classical masterpieces tonight and Friday to popular music from the stage and screen on Thursday and Saturday, there's a range of music for everyone to enjoy. After the break, once upon a time in Edmonton, we look back at the history of the Pride Parade in our city.
I didn't think anyone would come.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Welcome back. Right around average for both the high and the low. A little bit above average for your morning low today at 14 degrees. It'll be a lot cooler than that tomorrow morning. Should be in the 9-degree range here in the city. And we'll get close to 20 for a daytime high tomorrow with partly cloudy skies. We had some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Could still see a few scattered showers push through parts of the Edmonton area or surrounding regions overnight tonight. You get a big upper level low here that's slowly going to make its way off into Saskatchewan. That will continue to produce some rain in northeastern Alberta through much of the day tomorrow. But watch how this falls apart as it approaches the Edmonton area for tomorrow evening. So sure, there's maybe a slight chance of a scattered shower tomorrow evening in the area, but for the most part, we're going to be pretty dry through the daytime hours, but windy on the backside of that system. Wind to be 40 to 50 kilometer per hour gusts. Here's your sunshine for Friday. The exception to be the extreme northern parts of the province, but there's a nice little upper ridge that's going to start to build in from the west-southwest, and that'll stick around through the weekend and pretty much all of next week. 10 degrees in Fort McMurray. We'll be in that 9-10 degree range in the city as well. A little cooler in Red Deer at 5 degrees tomorrow morning. Not much of a temperature rise in the northeast. With that steadier rain around Fort McMurray, just 14 or 15 for a daytime high. Slave Lake as well in the mid-teens. You'll get closer to 20, though, for Grand Prairie and Peace River. Around 20 degrees. Red Deer, Jasper with mainly sunny skies. And close to 20 as well in east central Alberta with some sunshine in the morning. And then around Lloydminster, you might see an evening shower. There's your windy conditions for tomorrow. Wind dies down for Friday, though, and we start to warm up. 19 or 20 tomorrow, low to maybe mid-20s on Friday, mid to upper 20s for Saturday, Sunday, and it just keeps getting hotter. 28 or 29 Monday. Highs near 30 for Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're still in the upper 20s or close to 30 through the last few days of August. So there was some heat to start August, back-to-back 30s the first 2 days, and we'll get some heat to end the month as well. That is your forecast.
Edmonton's Pride Festival begins this weekend, and for the first time since 2018, the parade is back. Tonight, Once Upon a Time in Edmonton looks back at the history of Edmonton's Pride Parade.
And I will never forget coming across the bridge and turning and coming to the gazebo, and there were people there, and I was astounded. I didn't think anyone would come. And
more than 3 decades ago, now former city councilor Michael Fair was part of the group that organized Edmonton's first Pride March.
It was actually on a Sunday, and it was a parade that was two blocks long.
In June of 1991, a group of 30 to 40 people started at the gazebo in McIntyre Park and marched down White Avenue.
Some people wore paper bags over their head so they could see if they didn't want to be identified. But we basically just marched down those 2 blocks and back to that, and we thought we'd done a miracle.
A couple of years later, Fair organized Edmonton's third Pride Parade, this time as the city's first openly gay councillor.
I, Mayor Jan Reimer, do hereby proclaim June 26th Gay and Lesbian Pride Day in Edmonton.
We're here, we're queer, we're proud of it, get used to it. Fair recalls having a significantly larger group and says it felt more like a parade. Supporters stood and applauded as they marched down White. And nobody wore paper bags despite protesters showing up.
Shame, 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 shame.
They're shouting shame at you.
But we're not, they ought to be the ones that are ashamed.
In 1995, Bill Smith was elected mayor of Edmonton.
Oh, it was not easy. I mean, it was hugely disappointing.
I don't think we need to issue a proclamation to say to everybody, because Edmontonians clearly know that we shouldn't be discriminating against gays and lesbians at any time.
Citing personal beliefs, Smith refused to proclaim Gay and Lesbian Awareness Day. Fair says trying to get a proclamation was hopeless. In 1998, the Supreme Court of Canada ordered the government of Alberta to include sexual orientation in its human rights laws. Despite the change, Mayor Smith continued to refuse proclamations for Pride events.
Is that what we're talking about? I can't talk about that.
He gives out proclamations for everything, and we deserve a proclamation like any other part of the community.
Pride organizers threatened Smith with a human rights complaint.
And a couple of years later, he was forced to do it.
I have personal principles, but the law is another matter.
Mr. Smith gave us the proclamation this year, and we thank him for that. That was a very difficult thing for him to do. It was the right thing for him to do, and legally he was obligated.
Tomorrow, in Part 2, we look at the changing attitudes towards Pride, both positive and negative, leading up to its demise in 2019. All right, folks, that's all from us on this Tuesday. Thanks for wrapping it up, Wednesday rather, with us here on CTV Edmonton. We'll see you again tomorrow night right here at 11:30. Take care. Have a great night. Bye for now.